What would Larry Silverstein say? What Larry Silverstein would say is that on the day of 9/11, I was a very lucky man because my wife had made an appointment for me that day at the dermatologist. And I was normally every morning, I go in to the top of the floor, I go to the windows on the world, and I have my breakfast. But on that specific day, my wife had made an appointment with the dermatologist, and I wasn't in the building that day. To this day, I tell my wife how lucky I am that I wasn't in the building that day. But I think of all the poor people that died. And then I think about the 4.8 billion I got in insurance when I just insured the World Trade Center beforehand, when I took ownership of it, because of course it used to be owned by the city of New York. And then it came to me, and then with the building was on fire, I just said, pull it. Pull it. Anyway, there you go. That's what you get for £1. Guys, thanks very much for tuning in. I'll see you all tomorrow, 8 p.m. Good night. Bye-bye. He was actually, let me do that again. His mouth's going like that. My dermatologist. He was going like that with his mouth. My wife. Let me actually put that up. Let me actually get it up. Larry Silverstein. Let me get it up. He was moving. You need to watch him, Larry Silverstein. 9/11. Let me see if I can get it. Where is it? He bought the World Trade Center 6 weeks before it. Larry Silverstein, 9/11 dermatologist. Where is it? There it is. Here it is. Oh, and drink more like that. Actually, look at how hideous Larry Silverstein is. Utterly hideous. Look at this. Look at his face to the side. Look at that. Look.
Where were you on September
11th? I was home.
I was home.
And the only reason I wasn't where I was every morning, subsequent to the 26th day of July, my mornings were spent.
This guy looks like a goblin. See, when you see, like, on churches, they had goblins, like, or to warn you, he looks like a goblin creature.
Usually at a breakfast meeting at Windows, an 8 o'clock breakfast meeting, Windows, the top of it, and then going down to visit with my tenants, my new tenants, at the Trade Center, getting to know them,
getting to know them so they could take all the money from them,
their problems and so forth, ascertaining how we could service their needs.
Look at the mouth about,
which is first one of the first things you do when you acquire a property. Begin to meet your tenants.
Is that what you did when you acquired the land of Palestine in 1948? Yeah, we get to know them and blah blah blah.
Start talking with them, and so my mornings were spent at the Trade Center, and then by noon I was back uptown, and so that particular morning, because
name of the one of chewing the gum.
Light-colored hair and fair skin, and
I have colored hair and fair skin. Really? Do you, Larry?
To the dermatologist. My wife, God bless her, had made an appointment for me at the doctor, and I remember dressing to go to the doctor. I'm finally saying to my wife, I said, "Sweetheart, I've got so much to do downtown. I got to cancel this. I've got to go downtown." And she said, "You're not going to cancel this appointment. You're going to the dermatologist."
Look, I'm laughing. Look, I'm laughing about it. Thousands of people dead. No, those schmucks never paid their rent. Those bastards got out of paying their rent that month. Do you know what? I bet you any money, right? Like the people would have been outside the World Trade Center, like all covered in ash. And he's like, okay. But remember, you got to pay the rent this month. Okay? It doesn't matter. You got to pay your rent. Doesn't matter there's not a building. You signed a contract. You signed that contract with me. You got to pay your rent. They got to keep the shekels coming in. Okay? I don't make the rules. It's not me. I don't make the rules. You got to pay the rent.
I got to cancel this. I've got to go downtown. And
Got to get down. They got to pay the
she
rent.
said, you're not going to cancel this appointment. You're going to the dermatologist. You know, having been married now to the same woman for 46 years, you get this sense of determination on occasion, their voices. And I said, okay, yes, dear, I'll go. I'll go. And then just minutes later, received a telephone call to turn on a television set and witnessed this horrendous circumstance. The first plane hitting and then the second plane hitting. Of course, with the second hit, it became obvious that this was terrorism.
Oh, it became obvious it was terrorism. All right,
was,
okay.
Absolute hell because so many of our people were down there. We were in occupancy, temporary occupancy of the 88th floor of the North Tower prior to moving permanently into the 91st floor of the North Tower. And so my children, two of my children, Roger and Lisa, both work with me. They were on their way to work at 9 o'clock.
So his children who work with him, they weren't in the office. Wow. Imagine that. They were on their way to work and they just miraculously missed it.
Many others, about 100 people with us on their way to work. And as it turns out, had the plane struck 15 minutes later, our firm would have been decimated. As it is, we lost 4 of our people, 2 of whom I had hired just a few weeks prior to that.
Two of whom would just goyim.
And there's 6 children among them. And it was a horrendous experience.
Horrendous experience. But you know, I got that check. They brought in one of those big giant checks. And they said, Mr. Silverstein, I present you with a check for $4.8 billion. And even though all those thousands of people died, somebody won. And I got $4.8 billion. And that's what keeps me going. Knowing that they died, but I profited. And to me, that's all that matters because, you know, it's all about the money. Good night. Bye-bye.